Good day, sir. I am Balocan Chinli Alanjaroki, BE Scream 2, Section 2C, and I'm going to read the interview up to informants. Number 1, interview. Define: it is the questioning of a person believed to possess information which are relevant to the investigation of a crime or on criminal activities. Number 2, the golden rule in interview. Never conduct or let anyone conduct an interview if the interviewer has not gone to the crime scene. The questioning should be in agreement with the facts of conditions at the crime scene. The questioning will lead any wayward of the reviewer who had not seen personally the crime scene, and he will not be in a position to distinguish half-truths, exaggerations, or falsehood from the answer of the persons being interviewed. 3. Qualities of a good interviewer. A. Rapports. Define: it is the relation between the interviewer and the interview, which is conducive to a truthful result. It is winning the confidence of a person being interviewed in order that he will tell all the information in his possession. The interviewer must be respectable civilian attire, because most often and the majority of people, the police uniform is barrier in establishing good sport. To many, the uniform is intimidating. B. Forceful personality. The appearance of the interviewer and other qualities, such as skills of communication techniques or the force of his language, are the mainstays of strength his character. He must be understanding, sympathetic, and without showing official arrogance, vulgarity of expressions, and or air superiority. C. Knowledge of human behavior. This will help the interviewer to determine the personality and intelligence of his subject. He must go down and up to the level of understanding of his particular subject. D. Conversational tone of voice. His tone of voice must be conversational, not confrontational as in interrogation. E. Common interest. His preliminary and probing questions should be aimed to establish common interest between him and the subject. F. Acting qualities. He must possess the qualities of an actor, salesman, and psychologist, and know how to use the power of persuasion. G. Humility. He must be courteous, sympathetic, and humble, ready to ask, apologize for the inconvenience of the interview. Number 4. Cognitive interview. Defined: is a form of technique and the conduct of interview upon willing and cooperative witnesses, where they are given the full opportunity to narrate the accounts without intervention, interruption, and interference from the interviewer. After the subject has finished his narration, the investigator now subject him to the style of direct examination and cross-examination to clarify the unexplained portion to arrive of the vivid and complete picture of his testimony. In the case of this subject of low level of intelligence, the use of leading questions really helps the investigator to obtain the full and desired information. Number 5. Reason why witnesses refuse to talk and testify. Reason: A. Fear of reprisal. The fear of reprisal is always entertained by witnesses who lack the courage to face the suspect, his associates, of relatives. This is natural, especially those who have no means to protect themselves or no influential person for them to rely on. The prevalent among the generally underprivileged sector of our society. The investigator must remove these fears from the mind of witnesses, either by offering protection or by the explanation that unless the suspect is not put behind bars, the fears will not disappear. The investigator's power of persuasion plays a vital role. B. Create great inconvenience. On the part of those of hand-to-mouth existence, there is the real inconvenience which will deprive them the time to earn for their living, especially during the ordeal of testifying during the trial. To those unemployed, the inconvenience is greater. Those the investigator must sincerely help them through his contact with the business community. C. Hatred against the police. The hatred may be due to previous bad experience with drug members of the police organization. The investigator must show how the difference between him and the drug policeman must honest and sincere entertainment of the compliance against drug scams. He must explain that these always represent on a small percentage of a whole organization and the police leadership is addressing the situation properly. A calling card is the investigator given to this kind of witness will greatly help the situation, promising immediate help if there is the recurrence of the bad experience. Bias of the witness. The witness may be an acquaintance, friend, helper, or benefactor of the suspect. All of this and other relationship of the witness to the suspect must be explored so that an intelligent approach is properly applied. Avoiding of publicity. There are witnesses who are shy and they shun publicity that will bring discomfort to their ordinary or obscure the living of the way of living. The investigator must hide these witnesses away from reporters. Family restriction. Some famous and respected families preserve their reputations by instilling to their members the need of the approval for their elders. On matters affecting their families, the investigator must talk to the elders of their approval of a member to testify. G. Purgatory. Religious or racial, tribal, or ethnic difference. Cultish indoctrinations. Some cults or religious denominations exercise religions or moral influence on the decision of witnesses to testify. It would be more apparent when the witness and the suspect belong to the same cult. The investigator must use the tenet of religion, which is truth of the religion leaders, to allow their members to let the truth and give the required testimonial evidence. This is prevailing in our society, even to point of career advancement. 6. Common technique applicable to the foregoing reasons. Many of these witnesses want they will not be utilized as formal witnesses, but to remain anonymous. The investigator must initially agree that the testimonies be given the strand of confidentially. After the full disclosure of the information, the investigator then persuades these witnesses to be utilized as a formal witnesses, especially when there is necessity of the testimonial evidence. The power of persuasion plays a key role. 7. The stages of handling the interview. Number 1. Preparation. The investigator should review the facts at the crime scene and information from other sources in order that he would be ready for the questioning. A background data of the subject should be available so that he could adapt himself to the kind of approach to be employed. B. Approach. The investigator must carefully select his kind of approach, which may be a single kind of a combination of two or the application of all techniques. C. Warming up. This is done by the preliminary or exploratory questions to clear the atmosphere, promote the conductive ground for cordiality, respect, and trust for each other. The cognitive interview. The subject now is asked to narrate his account without interruption, intervention, or interference. It is only after the completion. Cognitive interview. The subject now is asked to narrate his account without interruption, intervention, or interference. It is only after the completion of the interrupt narration that the investigator begins the direct and cross-examination. 8. Roles in questioning. A. One question at a time. Multiple complex and legalistic questions should be avoided. One question at a time is desired. B. Avoid implied answers. The nod of the head of any other body language as a response to the questions should be avoided. The answer must be oral, clear, explicit, and responsive to the questions. C. Simplicity of questions. A short, simple questions at a time is required. If the answer needs qualifications, then it should be allowed. Avoid legalistic questions such as who ID the murderers or who are conspiracy with the suspect. Saving faces. Embarrassing question on the subject on matters of exaggeration or honest errors about time, distance, and description can be avoided. If the investigator will cooperate with the subject to save his face, the investigator should not fault or ridicule the subject on these matters. E. Yes or no answers. Do not ask questions which could be answered by yes or no. It will curtail the complete flow of information and will lead in inaccuracy. 9 types of 9 types of witnesses according to their attitudes. A. Knowing nothing type. These are the reluctant types of witnesses. They are found among the uneducated on a low level of intelligence. The techniques to be applied is to go down to their level of intelligence and or by interrogation. Disinterested type. This is the incooperative and indifferent subject. To deal with them is to find out their field of interest so that they will talk. Their indifference should be demolished to arouse their interest or be flattered. See the drunken type. The style of questioning by the investigator should be adapted to the psychology of the subject. When the drunken subject has sobered, another interview will be conducted, confronting him about his disclosures while in the state of drunkenness. The written statement must be taken during his sobriety. The suspicious type. These type of witnesses are suspicious about the motive and actions of the investigator. The bearers of their suspicions may be removed by the sincere explanations or psychological pressure. E. Talkative type. These are witnesses who are prone to exaggerate, adding irrelevant or new matters of their narrations. The skillful investigator could prune the unnecessary matters from the relevant ones. If honest witnesses. These are the truthful and cooperative witnesses where the investigator could rely upon with little or no problem in handling them. G. Deceitful witnesses. These are the liar type of witnesses. Let them lie and order them to repeat several times their narrations. They will be enmeshed in contradictions. If possible, the lies must be tape recorded for the confrontation about their contradictions. Pressure them for possible cases of perjury or obstruction of justice, and they will let them truth. It's timid witnesses. They are the shy witnesses. The approach must be friendly and restoring confidentially of their information. They should be hidden from the devouring press by interviews of the photo sessions. I boasting, egoistic, or concentric witnesses. They will be good witnesses because of their ability of expressing their accounts of the commission of a crime. The investigator must be patient in dealing with them in order not to bruise their ego or self-pride. They are susceptible to add colors of importance in the role as witnesses, probably underrating the accounts of others. G. Refusal to talk witnesses. This is the most difficult subject to deal with. Find out reasons of their silence by exploring deeper into the kind of their personality. The cause may be trauma, shock, fear, hatred, and others. Remove these filters of silence and they will start talking. 10. Statement analysis. This is a new name in criminal investigations but got new in actual practice. What is new in the term? It began in the United States with a woman reported to the police the disappearance of her children while on board her pack car. The car also disappeared with the children. The police for a considerable time scoured the area, interviewed scores of witnesses who claimed to have seen nothing. A police expert carefully analyzed the videotape recording of the woman who went to the TV station to appeal for her children. The analysis will lead to suspension and the woman was applied under exclusive interrogation where she confessed that she drove the car down the river because her live-in partner does not like her children from a former marriage. The car together with dead children was subsequently retrieved from the floor of the river. This is not a new practice in our jurisdiction. Every complaint and testimonies of witnesses are subjected to the crucible of truth, lest an investigator will be ignorant and mindful weapon of deception, frame up incriminatory machination against the innocent. Utmost care must be exercised before concluding the culpability of the suspect. This is the role of of the art of criminal investigation and detection. 11. Compliance and the testimonies be reduced to writing. Complaints of testimonies shall be reduced into writing in the form of questions and answers. Never use the affidavit from even in the testimonies of apprehending officers. This affidavit form is followed upon by our courts, especially when there will be a variance between the affidavit and witness stand accounts. The court even went to his extent that what is truth in the witness stand accounts because the answers in the affidavit was not from the witness, from the police investigator who prepared the affidavit. The narration of the witness must be based on the rules of cognitive interview. All these compliance and testimonies must be placed under oath before an officer is authorized to administer oath. B. Informants. Number 1. Informant. Define an informant is any person who furnishes the police an information relevant to a criminal case about the activities of criminals or syndicates. The informant's meaning openly give the information of offer himself to be a witness. The other kind is the one who is furnishes the policeman an information surreptitiously and opts to remain anonymous. And that's all. Thank you.